Yo, what's up, sports fans? Welcome back. Week 4 of the Rig Report. I am your host, Jersey Snoop. Hey, man, what can I say? We had a wild and crazy week. I'm sure you guys been keeping up with what's been going on. Before we start, I just want to give a shout out to those who've been supporting me in my second week here. I got about 11 subscribers, and I appreciate every one of you. A couple of people commented, a couple of people reached out to me about it, and I appreciate the love as we slowly grow into a whole community of true believers. I want to give a shout out to Chino. I want to give a shout out to Cap and Steph Curry Daddy. All of those giving me some advice, commenting, sharing some love. So I like to big up, my subscribers, my followers. And trust me, y'all, when we get this money, I'm gonna look out. I'm gonna give back. We in this together. So just keep following, keep commenting in. Let's keep it real. You know what I mean? There's no bullshit zone over here, baby. We're gonna keep it raw, you feel me? So with that said, welcome to week 4 of the Rig Report, where the world is a stage, but we still trying to get paid. Feel me? So to recap, let's see what we got. Beginning of week 4, we had the Thursday night game, which I mentioned on my earlier video. We had the Seahawks at the Cardinals. The Seahawks 2-1, Cardinals were 2-1. Something had to give. The Cardinals wins has been pretty lucky though. Seahawks has been real dominant. As I said, I believe Seahawks was the better team. The Cardinals was at home, a division game. It was 1.5 point spread, so it could have went either way. Either way. And as you guys seen, the fucking rig job happened. Seattle took off, got it up to 20-3. Then next thing you know, here comes 20-6. And here comes Arizona. Marvin Harrison does nothing the whole game. And then he comes alive and catches a touchdown miraculously right before the announcer said, "Oh, we need to get the ball to Marvin Harrison. This certain route would be nice." And immediately after he said it, Marvin Harrison does that exact route for the touchdown. Coincidence? I think not. Not over here, guys. Then they get 20-20. And then when it's 20-20, with about 28 seconds left, what happens? Did y'all see that bullshit? Well said, my guy. Well said. That fucking kickoff was bullshit. He pooched it so that the Seattle would get the ball on the 40-yard line. 2 plays later, they kicking the field goal. Welcome to the Rigged Report. Like, they make it so obvious now, and that's what kind of sucks. Back in the day, we didn't know what was going on. Everything was real. Everybody was fighting their hardest. We didn't see this sloppy ass shit that we're seeing today. And they expect us to believe that this shit is real. Like, come on, man. So Seattle got the win, 23-20. They covered the 1.5, and we're on to this week, man. And like I said, a lot of people like to use the spreads. I only pick the spreads if I'm taking an underdog. Why take their spread? If you know a team's going to win, or if you believe a team's going to win, why take their 5.5? So they got to win by 6. They win by 3, and you don't win. You know what I'm saying? So if you're taking the spreads for the favorites, you know what I mean? You're giving yourself less of a chance to win. And people want the money, but I'm okay with taking a little less to have more of a sure thing. So if I'm taking somebody I believe to win, I'm taking the money line. Now, if I'm taking the underdog, yeah, I might take the points because now you're giving yourself 2 chances to win, for them to either win or for them to cover the spread and not lose by much. You know what I mean? I'm not in to play their games. I'm not in to play some soothsayers or putting lines out weeks before the matchup even happens, and then the game comes right around that line. Like, y'all not fooling me. You know what I mean? So when we put these picks together, guys, we're going to win some money. But we're going to pick we're going to pick money lines. And then we might take some underdogs because we want the points. You feel me? So with that said, let's get to week 4. All right, what we got first? Anybody know a little Irish, Irish accent or anything like that? Because we in Dublin for week 4. We starting week 4 off in Dublin. You feel me? We got the Vikings at the Steelers. Vikings at the Steelers. Not really at the Steelers because they're in Ireland, but this is considered a home game for the Steelers. So we'll take that. And the line is at -2.5 now for Minnesota. Minnesota is the favorite. Okay. So let's break this down together. Last week, they ran it up. Carson Wentz at home. They ran the scoreboard up. What they put up? 48-10, I believe they won. And the Steelers got a win in New England. People kept downing the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers looks horrible, all of this stuff. But they got the win. So now, from last week, I guess, they got the Vikings as 2.5-point favorites. This is telling me that they think Carson Wentz is going to outperform Aaron Rodgers, or that Minnesota defense is going to somehow stop the Steelers' offense. There's no J.J. McCarthy in that game. There's no Aaron Jones in that game. Jordan Addison is returning from this game. So for this game, maybe that matters. But who do you trust more? Let's take the rig out of it for a minute. Who do you trust more, Carson Wentz or Aaron Rodgers? Who do you trust more, Kevin O'Donnell or Mike Tomlin? And remember, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are going into their bye after this. So they're about to give it all they got before they go into the bye. They're currently tied 2-1 at the top of the AFC North with the Bengals. So they can win this game, go 3-1. The Bengals lose to the Broncos, and they're going off to their bye in first place at 3-1. I like that scenario. I like that script. I trust Aaron Rodgers a little more than I'm going to trust Carson Wentz. And again, it's week to week. So people are seeing what happened last week with the Vikings. Oh, they look so dominant and everything like that. Steelers are always in the game. And Steelers as underdogs under Mike Tomlin, very high percentage when he's an underdog. Okay? So we're going to roll with Mike Tomlin in Ireland. But you know what we're going to do? Again, 2.5. Why do that if we lose by a field goal? You feel me? I believe them to win. But if you're going to put them on a ticket and they're already getting 2.5, why not just buy the extra point and get 3.5? So if some miraculously script written way Minnesota wins by a field goal, you still get cash. All right? So we're going to think like that. Like the Steelers, but I'd rather have the extra point. So Steelers plus 3.5 for me is where I'll go with that game. Even if they win, I'm okay taking the lesser. I want definite hits. You feel me? So we're going to take the Steelers plus 3.5. We're going to buy the point. We'll take the plus 3.5 on that. If you want to take the Steelers money line and just take the risk, that's fine. It's a very likely chance they'll win, but you're still leaving more room for error. Just know that, okay? All right, let's get to this next game. We got Go Eagles, Bird Gang. We got my Eagles at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are 3.5-point underdogs. Eagles are favored in this game. Let's see. They got no Mike Evans for this game. Looks like he's going to be out. Still up in the odds on Chris Godwin. We don't know if he's returning this week or not. Ibuka's been killing it. You know, he's been killing it. And Baker Mayfield has pretty much had our number. He plays us very well. You know, I believe he beat us the last 2 times we played him. So this is a tough game. I, of course, won't bet it because I don't like going against the Eagles. It has to be a definite spot. You know, you see what happened with the Rams last week with the Eagles. They was getting their ass whipped the whole game. I said hang it up, and then here come Miracle Schmiracle on 34th Street. You feel me? So with this game, you know, if you want to bet it, good luck. Good luck. Bucks plus 3.5 is like they itching you to take that. The Eagles, it can go. You see what we can do. You know what I mean? We can sit there and not play, or we can run it up and then win. I'm not picking it. Good luck to you, those who do. But since I'm not picking it, I'm rooting for the Eagles because I ain't got no money on the line. I want to see my boys win. All right. So with that, we're gonna move on. We got the Washington Commanders at the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are now 1.5-point favorites. When this started, the Commanders were 1.5-point favorites. News coming out that Jaden Daniels will not be playing this week, as well as Terry McLaurin will be out this week. Mind you, I believe AJ Terrell is on the injured reserve for the Falcons. Falcons just got 30. You know, if this was battle rap and they call it a 3-0, they just got 30 to nothing at the Panthers last week. Okay? So now they are a small favorite, and I'm going to tell you why I like the Falcons, and this will be one of my picks. The Falcons, just like the Steelers, are going into a bye after this game. They put up 0 last week against the Panthers. So to the general public, Falcons aren't that good. But mind you, the week before that, they beat Minnesota, I believe 22-8 or 22-6. So I like the Falcons to bounce back. You're back at home. We're going from last week. People think that, you know, Marcus Mariota is going to go good like he did last week and go crazy. I think the Falcons got a wake-up call, plus they're going into the bye, so they're about to give it all they got before they get their rest. I like the Falcons in this game. They're -1.5. We don't do spreads when we take the favorites. We like the money line. I don't think Marcus Mariota, he was home last week. For him 2 weeks in a row, you know, to perform all great. We'll see. We'll see. I like the Falcons. Dan Quinn's coming back to face his old team. Keep that in mind. A little revenge for the Falcons there. So I like the Falcons money line, and this is going to be one of my picks. All right, for that reason. All right, let's go to the next game. Next game we have, oh, God. Saints at the Bills. Next. Come on, guys. Do we need to talk about this? Do we need to talk about this? All right, I don't think so. Buffalo is 15.5 down to 14.5-point favorites. Do what you will. Do what you will. I'll take Buffalo for the money line on my ticket just to add a little extra to my parlay, to be honest. But all that extra stuff, we're not talking about that. Let's keep it moving. The Cleveland Browns at the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are 9.5-point favorites now. Let's see. The Browns got a great win against Green Bay, Rigoroni, last week. So now they are at the Lions. I don't think they can do it twice, you know, like the Lions. Not really. It's a long spread, so it's not one of my picks. But, of course, I got the Lions to win, money line. I don't care about the 9.5. I'll bring it down. You know, I don't see Browns winning 2 in a row, going on the road. Now, they will put up a fight. Browns have a defense. Y'all got to remember that. Browns have a good defense. You know, and the Lions offense at home, dome, you know, they like to run it up. But Browns got a good defense. So it depends on which Jared Goff shows up, which script he's, you know, reading. I like the Lions to win. I don't like any of the spreads. All right, going to the next game. We got the Carolina Panthers, missed the 30s for last week, at the Patriots. Now, this is very interesting. The Panthers at the Patriots. The Panthers won last week 30-0. The Patriots lost 21-14 at home against the Steelers. So the Patriots are now back at home. Patriots haven't shown anything to prove that they're a good team. Panthers either, but they did just 30-0 the Falcons. So the Patriots are giving 5.5. They're 5.5-point favorites. Why? How? How are Patriots not 3 because they're home? We're going to give them 4, 5.5-point favorites against a team who just 30-0, 30-0, the Falcons. So you would think everybody's going to take Carolina Panthers with the 5.5, plus 5.5. Not me. That line is screaming that the Patriots are going to run this game up. That line, why 5.5? Everybody's taking the Panthers with 5.5 if this was on an even playing field. I would. So I'm going Patriots. I don't think they got a home win yet. They went on a road. Let's see. It's time for Forgot his name off the tip of my tongue. Vrabel, Mike Vrabel, get a home win. They just lost at home last week. Now here come the Panthers riding high off their 30-0 win last week, coming into New England. I think the Patriots get right. I think their defense steps up. I see Tech McMillan is a little bit hobbled, but he may play. I can see the script going, the Patriots running, blowing the Panthers out. I can see the defense getting the pick six, fumble recoveries, Drake May getting right. They finally let Trayvon Henderson, get some runs and really take off. I see the Patriots. I'm taking the Patriots on this one, and you guys can write it down as I have. But I'm taking the money line. I'm not playing with them, bro. I'm not taking 5.5 and they win by 5 on a backdoor cover. Why put yourselves in that risk? Money line. Money line. Let's go. All right. Next one. Very funny game. I think the rig is in to a degree. San Diego Chargers at the New York Giants. San Diego are 6.5-point favorites against the Giants, who just lost in their home opener last week against the Chiefs. I believe it was 22-6. The Chargers won a sweat out game against the Denver Broncos, 23-20. Remember, I had the Broncos. Didn't work out. The Chargers, to me, running away with that division. They're already 3-0 in that division. No signs of stopping. Who did get hurt? What's his name? Sorry, guys. Omarion Hampton is now the main guy. Who was his back? Najee Harris. Thank you. Najee Harris just got hurt, so he's done. So Hampton's about to get a lot more touches. This should be Chargers all day. However, the Giants have decided to roll out Jackson Dart in this game. Somebody please tell me why. Why not do it next week when they're playing the Saints and that's a more safe environment to roll out your rookie future quarterback? Why put him in this spot against a good defense and Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers? Why put him out there? Because if the Chargers just beat the shit out of them and you already benched Russell Wilson, everybody's clamoring for Dart, who you guys believe is the future. Why put him in this bad spot where there's so much potential for him to have a terrible game? And then where you're going to go? Winston? So why put him in this spot when you could just wait till next week? And it's a more winnable game. So I think the rig is in on this game. Not that I think that Jackson Dart is going to beat the Chargers. They can. But not too many rookies in their first game really get the win. But to cover the 6.5 when everybody's probably taking the Chargers, I'm not taking it. But just watch. This is a game I think the script is definitely going to be in. I think they're going to have Jackson Dart looking good. Nice package for him. I think everybody's going to be motivated in New York. Second game back-to-back at home. They just put up a dud last week. So they're going to have to show something. They got to show something to keep continuing because they can't just get flat out ran over and then you got Russell Wilson, which you're going to pull him back up, and then now you're giving the Giants fans no hope because Jackson Dart looks bad. So I think they're going to be motivated. I think the Giants go off. I think they can win in in the script. But however, I do think they will cover. Jackson Dart has to look good enough for them to keep rolling with him. You know what I'm saying? To put him in this spot. So it could be a close game. It could be defensive. And, the Giants could lose by 3. Or they can get a kick or something can go their way. And they can pull an upset. I'm not betting this game. But this is a game I'm saying keep your eyes on. Why put Jackson Dart out there now instead of next week? Doesn't make sense. Okay? All right, next game, we got the Titans at the Texans. Texans are 7.5-point favorites. Titans and Texans is 0-3. Next! I feel like Bilal on House Party. Switch! I don't want nothing to do with that game, guys. Nothing to do with it. I don't care about Texans money line. They did. You see, they did me dirty last week. I want nothing to do with neither one of them. DeMeco Ryans, I think you in a hot seat, buddy. I don't want nothing to do with that game. I'm sorry. Next, we got the Colts at the Rams. The Rams are 3.5-point favorites against the Colts. I like the Rams in this game. Of course, money line. It's one of my picks. I'm taking the Rams. Rams just got the upset of the world happen to them, with the block punt last week or the block field goal. And again, I told you guys, I love my Eagles, but Sean McVay, I'm a big fan of that man and that team. You feel me? So taking the Rams. They just lost in a horrible scripted fashion last week. They're back at home. The Colts, who's everybody's riding, they're 3-0 with Indiana Jones. We're going to give them some respect. But the Colts ain't really playing anybody. You know what I mean? They got a good win off against the Broncos. I'll give them that. But outside of that, they haven't really played anybody. And mind you, the last week was their first road game when they were at the Titans. That wasn't a real team. We still got to see how Indiana Jones plays on the road against a real team, a pissed off team, a team that just got jerked and they back at home and they ready to whoop some ass. 3.5 is making everybody take the Colts because if they lose by 3, they'll win with the hook. I think the Rams win this one. I think they cover, but again, on my ticket, I ain't taking the money line. Why risk it? Why have them win by 3 and you lose on your money? So Rams money line in that game. Colts is doing great, but this is not their week. Rams is pissed off. They got jerked. Glad they got jerked against my Eagles, but they got jerked. All right, so we're going to move on to the next game. All right, we got the Jaguars at the 49ers. All right, the 49ers are now 3.5-point favorites. They got Brock Purdy back. His toes feeling fine. Jaguars, they stink. I don't understand why they're 2-1. I'm sorry, they stink. They haven't really played anybody. I know they got a new coach, Liam Cohen from the Buccaneers, OC. I know it's like make it or break it for Trevor Lawrence this year. He's not the dude. Look at the numbers. He's still at the bottom. They're winning from the script. They're not legit. I'm not a believer in them. I would take the 49ers at home, money line, all day. I don't care if it was Mac Jones playing or Brock Purdy. I know they're banged up. I know. Sella has that defense playing. It's still Mike Shanahan who's on that. Sean McVay is on his tree. Everybody's on the Shanahan tree. 49 is easily money line. Don't play with the 3.5 again. You don't want to get hooked and booked. Take the money line all day. All right. We got Ravens at the Chiefs. My Ravens at the Chiefs. Baltimore is 2.5-point favorites in Kansas City. All right. Right now, I'm a little disappointed in my team. You guys seen the temper tantrum, the scripted temper tantrum that Derrick Henry played last week. Yeah, a little, oh God. Like, come on, bro. You 31 years old. You a whole grown-ass man making millions of dollars. That was some acting right there, guys. Like, whoever believed that was real, more power to you. All right. But the Ravens and the Chiefs, it's a hard game to call, guys. I'm not calling it. Mahomes was only a underdog at home 2 times. He lost both times. So I can see people thinking, all right, Ravens, they just lost last week. Chiefs just won. Chiefs need a win. Is the Chiefs going to make the playoffs? They need a win. Ravens need a win. They looking bad too. They both 1-2. Both of these teams are 1-2. Would you ever thought at the beginning of this season both the Ravens and the Chiefs are 1-2? Xavier Worthy is coming back this week. I'm not picking this game. I'm not. But since I'm not picking it, you know who I want to win. Let's go, Ravens. Let's get right. I want to see the Eagles and my Ravens in the Super Bowl. I want to see Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. Let's go, Ravens. Let's pick it up. But I'm not picking that game. All right. We got the Bears at the Raiders. Next. Switch. Nah, I'm just playing. Bears, they got their little rigged win off last week. what was it, 31-14, 30-14, whatever it was. Raiders sold me out. They're bad. They're bad. I told you. Long as Chip Kelly's there, I have no faith in them. They're 1.5 point favorites. I'm not picking this. Caleb just got a good win last week. Normally, if the Raiders was really playing, I would take the Raiders, but I'm not messing with that until I see more from them Raiders and they get rid of Chip Kelly and that suck ass offense. I'm not rocking with them. All right, guys, we got the game of the night. Packers at Cowgirls, and yes, they will be Cowgirls forever on these streams. Packers at Cowgirls. Cowgirls are getting 6.5 at home against the Packers. This is the Micah Parsons revenge game. Hard to call with 6.5, the imaginary spread. Cowgirls got no CeeDee Lamb, so I can see the Packers defensively, kind of shutting them down. So Packers offense isn't that great either, but everybody performs against the Cowgirls. Look how the Giants did when Russell Wilson was throwing on them and everything. Not picking this game, wouldn't put my life on it because everybody has the Packers. Everybody think Micah Parsons is coming to get revenge on Jerry and Jerry's World and this, that, and the third. So I hear you guys with that. I would probably moneyline the Packers maybe, but the script can be in. Everybody's over here. Majority of the money's over here on a Sunday night game. I told you guys the main event, primetime games, I'm staying away from. That's how Vegas get their money back. Staying away from. Everybody's over here. Majority of the money's on the Packers. You know what I mean? So you can go with the public or you can go with the other side. You know what I mean? I'll be watching that game. Very interesting. I'm not calling it. I can see the Packers winning at the end, but that's not those not my picks. We're gonna go. I'm not calling that. Want to see good game though. We'll see what happens. And Monday night, we got the Jets at the Dolphins. Miami's 2.5 point favorites. Next, we got the Bengals at the Broncos Monday night. Broncos are 7.5 point favorites against the Bengals. Bengals looked bad last week. They looked very bad. That Minnesota, 48-10. Jake Browning. They looked bad. Broncos lost 2 weeks in a row. That kick against the Colts with the flag, the scripted one. And then they lost from a kick against the Chargers last week. So, of course, the Broncos. Of course, we're taking the Broncos to win. We're not playing with that 7.5. How are they giving anybody 7.5? They were 1-2. They were overrated coming into the season. Oh, great defense and all that. Bo Nix. We haven't seen it yet. So how are you giving anybody 7.5 points? You know what I mean? So I'm not taking no points. I don't believe in that. I'll take the money line. I'll take the money line though. But you're not one of my picks. You're a primetime game. We trying to win some money over here. You feel me? So, Broncos, we can see money line. But I'm not taking it. You can feel free to take that. You feel me? So those are the games we got for the week. But I just want to recap what my picks are. Okay? My picks are going to be, because we want to win some money. You know what I mean? We don't want to just play with it. I had them all written down over there, but I forgot where I put them. So let me just look down and remember who I'm taking again. I'm taking the Patriots money line. I am taking the Rams money line. I am taking the 49ers money line. And I am taking the Steelers plus 3.5 in Dublin. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I was taking the Falcons. Let me get my picks right. Here we go. Put this together, guys. Falcons money line. This is the guarantee. So I'm gonna hold off on the Steelers because Dublin, London. I'm gonna hold off on that. Put this 4-picker together and go get you some money. All right. Falcons money line. Patriots money line. Rams money line. 49ers money line. Put that together. We'll see what the odds is. Put some money on it. Get you a win. Now, if you're feeling a little froggy, again, I like the Steelers plus 3.5 as well. Again, it's in Dublin. I don't know what the turf is like. I don't know what they're going to be talking about. Last time they was in Brazil, this, that, and the third happened. They didn't like the field. I don't know what's going to go on over there. I like Aaron Rodgers over Carson Wentz. I like that Vikings just got a big win, but you're playing the Steelers now, who's always in the fight, who can always come back and win, who is going into their bye week next week, who is an underdog. I'm taking that. You understand what I'm saying? But you want the sure thing. Falcons, Patriots, Rams, Niners, money line. Put the four-teamer, run with that. Okay? I'll put that in, but I'm also going to have another one that has the Steelers plus the 3.5 as well. Okay? So those are my picks. I'm in this with you guys. I showed you my picks from the Cardinals. I would have had it, except they wanted to give the fucking touchdown to DeMarcamo or whatever the hell, DeMarcaro, whatever his name is, instead of Trey Benson. And you guys seen that. But outside of that, let's start getting these wins in. Put that 4-teamer in. Let's get some picks. Let's get some wins. Let's get some money. Comment, like, subscribe. You know what I mean? Please interact with me, guys. I'll show love back. I'll shout y'all out. Let's get it. Week 4 of the Rigged Report. Jersey Snoop. Holla.